Are you the one they're here for?
Hey, you! Were you the one on the freeway just now? I don't know what you're talking about, officer.
In a forgotten diner along a desert highway, a homeless black waitress stepped between police and a Hell's Angel biker accused of violent assault. She had nothing, no home, no safety net, everything to lose. But what she said next exposed a dark truth and triggered a chain reaction that would leave everyone in tears. Before we dive into this incredible story, tell me where you're watching from and what time it is there right now. I love seeing how far this channel reaches. And if you enjoy powerful emotional stories with real-life lessons, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. By 6:30, she was behind the counter at Ruth's, coffee brewing, her hands steady despite the constant knot of fear in her stomach. Ruth, the 61-year-old owner with silver hair and eyes that saw too much, watched her sometimes with a knowing look. But Ruth never asked questions. The diner was a haven for people society had forgotten. Ex-cons, addicts in recovery, women with haunted eyes like Naomi's. Outside the window, the desert highway stretched endlessly in both directions. A forgotten place for forgotten people. And Naomi was grateful for every invisible moment. The afternoon had settled into that drowsy stretch between lunch and dinner. An elderly couple picked at shared pie. A trucker nursed cold coffee. Naomi was refilling sugar dispensers when she heard it. A deep rumble, growing louder. Not a diesel truck but something rawer. The motorcycle roared into the lot and went silent. The door swung open. A massive man entered, 6'3", broad-shouldered, wrapped in black leather. Beard thick with gray streaks, tattoos crawling up his forearms. At his side, a brown pit bull mix padded in quietly. But it was the patch on his back that changed everything. Hell's Angels MC. The Grim Reaper astride a motorcycle. The elderly woman's fork clattered. Her husband fumbled for the check. The trucker's hand tightened around his mug, body angling toward the exit. The biker moved slowly, deliberately, choosing the corner booth furthest from everyone. He settled onto the cracked vinyl. The dog lay at his feet without command. Naomi watched him. She'd seen that exhaustion during hospital rotations. Bone-deep weariness. His scarred hands trembled as he set his keys down. She grabbed a menu and water, walking across the silent diner. "Welcome to Ruth's. Can I get you coffee?" He looked up, surprised. Pale blue eyes. "Coffee. Black." His voice was rough but kind. "And water for Diesel, if that's all right." "Of course." Naomi smiled. "Diesel's a good name. He's beautiful." The man's guard dropped slightly. "Best road partner I've ever had." She returned with coffee and a metal bowl of water, setting both down without hesitation. The dog's tail thumped once in thanks. She saw the man, not the patch. The exhaustion, not the fear. Her nursing training had taught her. Observe before judging. Behind her, disapproving stares burned into her back. She ignored them all. Elijah had just taken his first sip of coffee when the police cruiser pulled in, tires crunching gravel too fast. Two officers emerged, the older one moving with swagger, the younger one trailing behind. The bell above the door announced their arrival like a warning shot. Officer Victor Hale was in his 40s, thick-necked and red-faced, hand already on his holster. His partner, Officer Mason Reed, looked barely 25, notepad out, pen poised. Hale's eyes locked on Elijah. He crossed the diner in 4 strides, Reed following. "Elijah knocks." His voice carried across the silent room. The diner held its breath. Elijah set his coffee down slowly. "That's me, officer." Diesel rose, body tense, ears forward. "Alert. Waiting. We got a report of an assault this morning. Victims in the hospital. Broken jaw, cracked ribs. Description matches you perfectly. I've been riding since dawn. Just got here an hour ago. Hale scoffed. Witnesses say Hell's Angel. Big guy, beard, bike. That's you. Reed took notes, eyes darting between them. I wasn't anywhere near town this morning. Check the gas station cameras on Route 40. I filled up at 6:30, 30 miles east. Stand up. You're coming with us. Diesel's growl started low. Protective. Warning. Control that dog or I will. Elijah stood slowly, hands visible. Easy. Diesel. Stand down. The dog stopped growling but remained coiled, ready. Behind the counter, Naomi's heart hammered. Her hands gripped the formica, knuckles white. Something was wrong. Hale was too aggressive, too certain. Then it hit her. 6 a.m. She'd been awake in her car behind the diner. She'd heard shouting, a motorcycle, the sickening sound of fists on flesh. Too afraid to look, terrified of being discovered, she'd stayed hidden, crouched in her back seat. But she'd seen the bike when it roared past. Different make. Different color. The rider smaller, thinner, wearing different patches. Her pulse pounded. Speak up and risk everything, job, secret, safety. Or stay silent and watch an innocent man destroyed. The handcuffs clinked in Hale's hand. Naomi's breath caught in her throat. Turn around, Knox. Hale pulled the handcuffs from his belt. Elijah turned slowly, resigned but dignified. Diesel whimpered, trembling as he watched his owner about to be taken. Naomi's hand shook, gripping the counter so hard her fingers ached. The room spun, pulling her back to Memphis, to the apartment where she'd stayed silent too many times, where speaking up meant fists, meant blood. Asterisk, not again. Not this time. Asterisk. Wait. Her voice cut through the silence. Every head turned. The trucker. The elderly couple. Ruth. Reed. Hale with the cuffs. Elijah half-turned, eyes finding hers. Ma'am, step back. Police business. Naomi stepped forward instead. I was here this morning. Early. Around 6 a.m. Hale's eyes narrowed. What are you talking about? There was an assault behind the diner. I heard it. Shouting. A motorcycle. I saw the bike when it left. And it wasn't his bike. Different make, different color. The rider was smaller, thinner. Different patches. Hale stepped toward her, face darkening. What were you doing behind a diner at 6 in the morning? The question hung like an accusation. Her secret about to be ripped open. Her job. Her safety. Everything. Ruth moved beside her. She works early prep sometimes. Naomi shook her head. Her hands trembled, but her voice held steady. I live in my car. It's parked behind the diner. I saw everything. Gasps rippled through the diner. Reed stepped forward. Ma'am, can you describe what you saw? Detail. The rider was 5'10", maybe 170 pounds. Lean. The bike was a Harley Sportster. Dark blue, not black. The patch on his back wasn't Hell's Angels. Different design. Red and white. Diesel's tail wagged slightly. He moved toward her, his distress fading, recognizing something true. Hale's face went red. She's lying. Protecting him. Reed's eyes stayed on Naomi. Partner, her description is detailed. Specific. We should verify. Naomi's heart pounded so hard she thought it might break through her ribs. She'd done it. She'd spoken. And now there was no taking it back. Hale rounded on her, face twisted with rage. You're homeless. Living in a car illegally. Naomi's legs felt like water, but she didn't step back. I could cite you for vagrancy, trespassing. You could lose your job for lying to police." "She's not lying." The trucker spoke up. "I've been coming here 3 years. Never seen her lie about anything." The elderly woman nodded. "She's always been honest." Reed stepped between them, his young face set with determination. "Partner, let's verify her story first. Check traffic cameras. Gas station footage." "She's not," Hale snapped, but his eyes betrayed him. He was losing control. He jabbed a finger at Naomi. "This isn't over." Then to Elijah, "Don't think you're off the hook." He stormed out, the door slamming hard. Reed turned to Naomi. "Thank you for speaking up, ma'am. That took courage." To Elijah, "Don't leave town, but you're free for now." The moment Reed left, the diner erupted in whispers. Living in her car? Poor thing. That explains why she's always here so early. Naomi stood frozen, hands trembling so violently she gripped the counter to stay upright. The adrenaline was crashing, leaving her hollow and exposed. Elijah approached slowly, Diesel at his side. "You didn't have to do that." Naomi's voice shook. "Yes, I did. It was the truth. You put everything on the line for a stranger. You're not a stranger anymore." Ruth wrapped her in a fierce hug. "I've known for months, sweetheart. Your secret's safe here. You're safe here." That broke her. Naomi's shoulders shook as tears spilled over, all the fear and exhaustion pouring out. Ruth held her steady. When Naomi looked up, Elijah was placing bills on the counter. Far more than coffee cost. He nodded once, then turned to leave. Diesel paused, licking Naomi's hand once, gentle and deliberate, before following his owner into the afternoon heat. The diner slowly emptied. Some left without a word. Others squeezed her shoulder or mumbled encouragement. That night, as the sun set behind the desert hills, Naomi sat in her car. The same cracked seats, the same blanket, the same duffel bag. Nothing had changed. Everything had changed. She'd been seen. Exposed. Her secrets scattered like dust. And somehow, impossibly, she was still here. She pulled the blanket over her shoulders, wondering what dawn would bring. The next morning, Naomi showed up to work. Her hands still shook as she tied her apron, but she showed up. Customers were divided. Some avoided her eyes, uncomfortable. Others nodded with new respect, their tips more generous. Reed returned around noon, notepad in hand. He asked detailed questions, taking her official statement with care. 2 hours later, he returned. Gas station footage confirms Knox's alibi. 30 miles east at 6:30. And traffic cameras caught the assault. Different bike, different rider. Matches your description exactly. Naomi's breath caught. Reed's jaw tightened. Hale has a history with Hell's Angels. Previous complaints, grudges. Pattern of harassment going back years. Within days, Internal Affairs opened an investigation. Hale was suspended. The real perpetrator, a rival club member, was identified and arrested. News spread through the community. Some came to apologize. Others stayed away, still uncomfortable. Ruth gathered the staff one morning. "Naomi has a place here. Always." She looked at Naomi. "I've got employee housing above the storage room. Not much, but it's yours." Naomi's throat tightened. "Ruth, no strings. You've earned it." What Naomi didn't know, 30 miles away, Elijah sat in a clubhouse surrounded by brothers, telling them about the waitress who'd saved him. Her courage. Her sacrifice. Her homelessness. She had nothing and gave everything. Marcus, the club president, leaned forward. "What do we do for family?" We protect them, the room answered. Naomi knew none of this. She was surviving one shift at a time. Reed stopped by off-duty civilian clothes, sitting at the counter. Your testimony saved Knox. But it might save others. Hale had a pattern. You exposed it. Her voice had mattered. She'd made a difference. But she still jumped at sounds. Still feared retaliation. Still counted every dollar. One evening, just as she was flipping the closed sign, she heard them. Multiple engines. Deep, powerful rumbles growing louder. Her heart hammered. Fear or hope, she couldn't tell which. She stepped outside as the sun set, painting the desert gold and red. And there they were. A dozen motorcycles rolling into the lot, Elijah at the front. Elijah dismounted first, followed by 3 others. They removed their helmets with quiet respect, boots crunching gravel. Naomi stood frozen in the doorway. Naomi, Elijah said, these are my brothers. Marcus, club president. Roy, vice president. And Linda, Roy's wife. Marcus was silver-bearded, his presence commanding yet gentle. Roy was broad-shouldered with kind eyes. Linda had long gray hair and a deep smile. We wanted to thank you for saving one of ours, Marcus said, extending his hand. I just told the truth. In our world, we protect our own. And you're one of ours now. I don't understand. Linda stepped forward. We know about your situation. Where you've been sleeping. What you risked. Naomi's breath caught, exposed raw. We don't pity you. We respect you. You had nothing and gave everything, Roy said. Marcus pulled out a key. We own an auto shop. Small apartment above it. It's yours. I can't. No rent for 6 months. After that, whatever you can afford. Keep your job. You'll have safety, privacy, a home. Tears burned behind Naomi's eyes. Why would you do this? Because you did right when it cost you everything. That's who we protect, Marcus said. Linda touched her arm. And because you saw my brother as human when no one else did. Elijah gestured to the trucks. We've brought bedding, supplies, groceries. Brothers are moving your stuff from the car. Hope that's okay. Naomi crumpled, tears streaming. I don't know what to say. Say yes. Say you'll let us help. Naomi nodded through sobs. Linda pulled her into a fierce hug. Ruth appeared, tears in her own eyes. She closed the diner early, brought out food. 4 bikers became a dozen, then 20. Regulars joined, the trucker, the elderly couple, even some who'd been uncomfortable before. Someone raised a beer. To courage and truth. To courage and truth, the group echoed. Reed appeared, grinning. Heard there was a party. Also, Hale is officially terminated. Criminal charges pending. Your testimony made the difference. The celebration lasted until stars came out. That night, Naomi lay in a real bed for the first time in 2 years. The apartment was small but clean, sheets soft and smelling of detergent. Through the window, she could see stars. She cried herself to sleep, but not from despair. From relief. From gratitude. From the overwhelming weight of being seen, being valued, being home. Weeks passed. Naomi settled into the apartment like a plant finally given room to grow. She still worked at Ruth's, but everything felt different. Her uniform was cleaner. Her shoulders straighter. She wasn't hiding. Customers noticed. Some offered awkward apologies. Others showed quiet respect. Larger tips, genuine smiles, acknowledgement that said we see you. Ruth pulled her aside one morning. I'm making you assistant manager. You earned this long ago. I'm just making it official. Ruth, No arguments. Your family. MC members became regulars. They taught her about motorcycles, invited her to barbecues. Elijah brought Diesel by almost daily. The dog became her unofficial therapy companion. She started saving money. Real money. She researched online nursing programs, calculating tuition, imagining possibilities. When Marcus learned of her plans, he smiled. MC has a scholarship fund for family. Your family. This includes you. The community shifted. Bikers and locals mixed at the diner, old prejudices melting. Ruth's became proof that second chances were real. Naomi spoke at the shelter one evening. You're not invisible. You matter. I lived in my car 6 weeks ago. And now I'm here. When Hale's trial came, multiple victims came forward. Naomi testified with her head high. Reed, promoted for integrity, started working with her on community outreach, bridging law enforcement and the vulnerable. One Saturday, Marcus arrived with a package. Inside was a leather vest, custom-made. Not full club colors, but something just as meaningful. The patches read, "Friend and Family of Hell's Angels MC." Another said simply, "Protected." And across the back, one word, "Courage." You wear this proudly, Marcus said. You earned every stitch. Naomi held it against her chest, tears streaming. She'd gone from invisible to irreplaceable. That afternoon, she wore the vest into the diner. Diesel's tail wagged. Ruth beamed. And Naomi finally, truly, felt like she belonged. 6 months after that afternoon when she'd stepped between a biker and corrupt police, Naomi sat at her kitchen table, laptop open, working through a nursing assignment. The apartment had filled with life. Plants on the windowsill, photos on walls, textbooks beside a mug reading World's Okayest Nurse. She still worked at Ruth's, but now it was choice, not desperation. When Elijah traveled, Diesel stayed with her. The dog had become her second shadow, proof that trust could be rebuilt. The diner had changed. Photos covered one wall. Naomi with the MC at a charity ride, speaking at the shelter. Her story had spread. The homeless waitress who stood up to police. Other homeless people started showing up. She and Ruth created an informal network, connecting people with resources, jobs, housing. The MC provided security when needed. The small Arizona town transformed. Gradually. More acceptance, less judgment. One evening, as the dinner rush died down, Naomi reflected aloud to Ruth. I thought I had nothing to lose that day. But I had everything. My dignity, my voice, my truth. Standing up didn't take my fear away. It just proved fear wasn't in charge. Ruth squeezed her shoulder. You taught this whole town that lesson. A young woman entered, maybe 22, eyes darting nervously. Naomi recognized the signs. Too clean uniform over wrinkled clothes, clutching her backpack like it held everything. Exhaustion carved into her young face. Naomi approached with water and a menu. The woman ordered coffee, voice barely a whisper. Instead of walking away, Naomi slid into the booth across from her. I've been where you are. You're not alone. The young woman's eyes filled with tears. Her hands trembled. Naomi reached across the table. 6 months ago, I was living in my car behind this diner. Today, I have an apartment, I'm in nursing school, and I'm surrounded by family. She paused. Let me tell you what's possible when you find the courage to stand. As they talked, the diner filled with evening crowd. Bikers in leather laughed with farmers in denim. Truckers shared tables with families. Ruth poured coffee for everyone equally. Diesel napped in his corner. The scene would pull back here, back through the windows to show a small roadside diner glowing against desert darkness, full of life and second chances. Words on the screen would read, asterisk, courage isn't fearlessness. It's doing what's right when you have everything to lose. Asterisk. Asterisk, one voice can change everything. One person can matter. Asterisk. You are not invisible. And in that diner, over coffee and conversation, another woman's story was just beginning.
And that's it for today's video. If you enjoyed it or learned something new, make sure to hit that like button. It really helps support the channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. Drop your thoughts or questions in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.